Hey guys, hello and welcome. It's Angels Don't Lie, and I'm coming to you live right here on Facebook. So I'm going to go ahead on my laptop and share the video. If you're just tuning in, I will let you know that I did have a little bit of issue with my internet the other day. So if I don't see your comments, I'm going to use my laptop so I can get those, get everybody's comments in there, and I can see what you have going on and whatnot. So I'm sorry that it was such a confusion the other day, and I did miss some of you, but I apologize. All right. Time for the show. Join me live. If you guys want to share the video, I invite you to share the video, invite your friends, tag your names. Hi, Susan. Hey, I can see there's a comment. Look at that. Yay. I don't know why I couldn't see anybody's comment the other day. Hi, Gina. Hi, Kathy. Thanks for tuning in. I've got a good show for you. Gina, I can't wait to meet with you on Monday. Hey, Jen, how are you? Perfect. So we're sharing. We're tagging our friends. Nice to see you, Jen. I'm sorry that you didn't get to see the video the other day. I know you said you missed out. So we're sorry you missed it. Time for the show. Head on over to my business page. I appreciate your time and understanding with the transition over to the video with the new format. I'm still working out some of the kinks, but it's going good. I think it's going to be really good. Excellent. So I've got quite the little program for you. I got it all written down, got myself ready. This is normally what I would have done for the radio as well. I would always have my notes together, and I would pick my topic, and then I would also have my wellness tip. So that was kind of one thing I wanted to ask you guys about the wellness tip. Is that something you like and something you'd like me to keep? Or is there, something else? The wellness tip, I of course love doing that, but I don't know why this isn't refreshing for me. Anyways, beautiful. And I think I'm not seeing everybody's comments, but I'm going on my laptop now. There they go. Yay, 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 yay. So I'm going to be asking questions. I'm going to ask you to give me some hearts. Thank you, Kathy. You like the wellness tips. Thank you. If you like the wellness tips, go ahead and give me some little hearts. Let me know that you like them, and I'm going to continue doing them if that's so what we like. And tonight we're going to talk a lot about if you're choosing love over fear, because we're heading into the holiday season, and I know it's a big deal. Hey, Pat, thank you for that wellness tip. Thumbs up. Hey, Mary, I see you stopping by. Lori, nice to see you. Carrie Lee, are you still away? Thank you, Jen. I'm glad you like the wellness tip too. I like it, but then I was like, maybe you guys don't really like it. I don't know. Let me just fix this a little bit. A little guy. Thank you. Here we go. I know, I feel like I'm a little crooked. I got this thing behind me, but it's good. 7:04. Racking up the people. Everybody's joining in. Perfect. Hi, Julie. Hi, Sue. If you happen not to be watching on my business page, head on over to my business page. Perfect. Carrie Lacey says she chooses love over fear. That's what I'm saying, right? Perfect. Mary, so nice to see you, love. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying yourselves, enjoying the weather. I know it's really cold back in the Northeast, and I'm enjoying the warmth here where I am. Of course, I love to have those little breaks away. It's rejuvenating for the soul, for sure. So let's talk a little bit about... Oh, thank you, Julie. I did. I had a good Thanksgiving. So great with the grandbabies. We had all 5 together under one roof, and it was a little crazy, but great. And I don't know about you guys, but we have a lot of food allergies in our family. So my daughter and my granddaughter and my mom are all celiac. So we had to make special food all the time. So my daughter hosts Thanksgiving now, which is great for me. So I go there first thing in the morning and I help her get the turkey ready. And I make the stuffing. I make a gluten-free stuffing, which is delicious. I use no egg because we have a dairy, egg, and gluten allergy going on. And it seems like it'd be really stressful, but it actually is pretty easy. And now that we're on this nice routine of how we flow with things, it's great. And I know a lot of you have certain types of things and you cook special. So, and I make myself more of a vegetarian meal. I'll eat a little bit of meat, but I make myself lots of vegetables. So that's what I go for on Thanksgiving. How about you guys? Did everybody enjoy their turkey? Did you guys overeat? Did you find your balance? I'd love to know. Good, perfect. Hi, Kathy. How are you? Did you have the closing? Hope that went well if you did. We were talking a little bit about that. And Julie, yes, love always wins. It does. But like not everybody, especially when we enter the holiday time, not everybody can stay in that love because this is a stressful time. How many of you agree with that the holidays can bring out stress for you? Let me see a show of those. Sorry, my internet, hopefully you guys are seeing me and I'm not breaking up. By a show of likes, let me see how many of you are saying the same thing if the holidays are stressful for you. Come on, internet. Don't be slow. Don't be fickle. Don't be fickle. Do you guys hear me? I hope I'm not delaying too much. Because I'm not seeing anybody. Oh, what is my internet doing to me? I guess I'm stuck. Here we go. Come on. There it goes. Better? Are we live? Can you see me? It says it's recording. I'm hoping you guys can see me. The internet is a pain in the butt here. Well, anyway, smiling and leaving. How about you guys? Sorry guys, it kicked me off for whatever reason, and I'm back. I'm still trying to update my laptop. It's not working. So now you all have to sign back in. And, and it's saying low internet again. I'm smiling and leaving. How about you guys? Trying to do the show, trying to keep it live, trying to keep it real. So tonight we're talking about choosing love over fear and what that means, especially during the holiday times, because we get stressed out. We're running around. We're doing things that can really bring in that overwhelm and cause a little bit of stress. We're spending a lot of money. We're overcommitting. We might be overeating. So those are the things that I wanted to talk about tonight. I wanted to talk about how to keep our cool, how to keep that balance. And as we start to sign on, sorry guys, I lost connection here. Doing the best I can do over here. Hey, everybody's back on. Perfect. Signing back on. So we were talking about, like I said, that love over fear in this holiday time. So the telltale signs of fear, which are confusion over our choices, when we look outside of ourselves and we start to wonder, second guess ourselves, like, is this a good choice? Is this a bad choice? Should I do it? Should I not do it? And then we start talking about it and we're not following that inner guidance system. How many of you actually have that issue where maybe you get stressed out and you find yourself looking outside of yourself for answers? Yeah. So I think that's a big telltale sign. Yes, I'm getting a lot of people. So that confusion over our choices, that's a telltale sign that fear has us. So I like to say we have that angel on our shoulder, you know, the angel who whispers that true love and the guidance that we need. And then we have that Schmiego guide. And you guys, if you read my book, you know what Schmiego looks like because I have a picture of him in there. And when I'm able to, I will post a picture under this feed so you can see him again. So the other side, the other shoulder is that Schmiego voice. And that voice is the voice of ego and fear together. That confusion that wants us to think that we're not safe, that we're not able to make that decision, that we aren't able to do what we need to do. So that's what I'm talking about. And I think that we all have that. Even though we might not want to, and even though we might want to be in love, that Schmiego guy, he's always fucking with us. He's always pushing our buttons. He's always jumping in and making us think we're not going to be able to make the right choice. So whether this is in your personal life, whether it's at work, or whether it's at the holiday time, like, you know, do I get this person a gift? Do I go to this holiday party? You know, how do I say no? Or how do I tell my kids I can't afford that video game? Or so we get in our heads about it. So second guessing ourselves is a really big issue, right? How many people second guess their decisions once they've already made it, or go back on a decision that they've made because that fear guy sneaks in. That stupid Schmiego guy sneaks back in, right? Sorry, I'm going to... Just letting everybody know I lost internet on that first feed, and so they can tune in to the new feed. And here we go. Perfect. So another telltale sign that fear has us is when we are looking outside of ourselves. Like I said, we're going and we're trusting somebody else's opinion over our own. So that's a telltale sign that fear has us, that fear is saying, oh, you can't do it. You're not good enough. You won't do it good enough. I'm just putting this in again. Don't lie. Show. Number 2. Second try. Perfect. There we go. I know, I'm back. I'm so sorry. Sorry, guys. So. Okay. Perfect. Stay on this page. Okay. So another sign is overwhelm, right? We get really overwhelmed at the holidays. How many people, let me see your thumbs up. Let me see how many people get overwhelmed. How many people actually experience an anxiety? So they get really racy, they get trouble breathing, they get feeling out of control. Maybe taking medication for even anxiety. Have you had that as well? Where you've had to actually take some medication to calm your ass down? Some people actually have also, their depression gets worse this time of year. The holidays can bring forth a lot of mixed emotions, right? They can bring forth the lack of what we're feeling. It can bring a grief as well. So working on staying in ourselves, working on having that pattern of wine helps, Mary says. Yeah, wine sometimes can actually make it worse, but it can help. I'm going to talk about that too. Right? Being calm, what is that? Gina says, absolutely. So my next line, seriously, Mary says, when we turn to things to take the edge off, instead of working through whatever we're feeling. So not that wine's a bad thing, but when we are taking the edge off too much, when we're numbing, when it comes to be that thing where we're numbing, and then we have to take a look at what we're not dealing with. Yes, missing a loved one, Pat is right. This is that time of year that it's going to come forward, because those are the things that we would want to be doing with the people that we care about. Yes, Susan, you're right. Those anniversaries, and especially when they come around the holiday times, they're very overwhelming. Definitely can take our joy away. So full moon energy, Jen just is writing about, because that full moon, and she suffers from anxiety. But also the full moon can bring forth, there is that whole energy that people follow, that full moon energy, and it is a heightened energy. It is sensitive souls will be moved by that energy, and sometimes not in a good way, because when we're not doing our you work, when we're not being still enough to be in our own space, we become a little bit crazy, a little bit more anxious, a little bit more depressed, a little bit more of the things that take us out of our balance. And that's when we'll really start to second guess ourselves, and we'll really start to deplete. How many people end up blaming and shaming? How many people end up blaming themselves or feeling ashamed of their feelings? Yeah. Yeah. Not too many. So that's good. But how many people actually, so let me reframe the question then. How many people blame their past or blame the situation of things that have happened to them? Like, maybe it's childhood trauma, maybe it's a divorce, a breakup, or, something that's keeping them in the pattern. And without realizing it, it becomes sort of that blame. Hi, Katie. Thanks for joining. So during this heightened time of year, because, this is that time, obviously, that we're going to be stressed. There's a lot of issues with financial concerns, right? That financial component for us can be very stressful, right? How many people, let's get those, because that's a big deal. I feel like the financial thing is such an issue because we want to do the things, we want to be giving, we want to be sharing, but sometimes it's just too much, and it puts us in a place of discomfort. It puts us in a place of overwhelm. It puts us in a place of overcommitting, right? Or feeling less than, because we want to maybe do those things, so we feel less than because we can't. That's a big feeling too. So let's talk about the things. Those are the signs, all telltale signs we were talking about between, are we choosing love or are we choosing fear? And I did a little bit of research with a girlfriend of mine, and we were talking about she went through a really struggling time, and she's still in it, but I asked her what changed, what happened that made it shift for her. Because I do this with my clients, I've done it with myself, and so I was able to have this conversation with her. And she had done some therapy, she had done some coaching work as well. And I said, what was it that happened that made it a turning point for you? And she said, I decided I wanted to live. And by that, I chose love. I decided I didn't want to live in the misery anymore. So it wasn't anything that one person had said or done, but it was the combination of those things. It was some books I had been reading, and some voices I was hearing, and maybe some stuff on social media, and uplifting things. And then all of a sudden, she said, it came to me that I had this dream, and I woke up and I said, I want to live, and I want to live good. I want to live in love. Yeah, so how many of you want to live in love? Hi, Alyssa, nice to see you. Hi, Bonnie. Hi, Eugene, nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by, Lisa. Yeah, how many want to live in love? Let me see. Come on, guys. I know there's all of you sending me those things. Yeah, we do, right? We want that love. I want it for you too. So this is that you work and I'm always talking about it. You know me, I'm drilling it in. Those of you who have come for private sessions, we talk about the exact you work that the angels show. This is very specific stuff that we do in our sessions. But overall, like why I do this show is I can share some of them with you. Hi, Marianne, right? We want to do that. So definitely working through trauma. Yeah. So we want to make that choice, right? The choice of love over fear. So a couple of things, right? And Jen was right earlier because she said knowing our triggers are really important. So here's a question I'd love to ask you all. How do your thoughts affect your day? How do your daily thoughts affect the way your day goes? So if you wake up and you're feeling crappy, does your day go crappy? Do you wake up feeling, oh, I feel good today, and then does your day go good? Tell me, I want to hear. How do your thoughts affect your day? I'm going to wait for a couple answers. Just a couple. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you're just tuning in, thank you so much. I'm glad to see you. We're having a great conversation. We're sharing a little bit. So here's a little statement for you. It is hard for us to unlearn what we hear in our own voice over and over each day. What? Let me say that again. It's hard for us to unlearn what we hear in our own voice over and over every single day. So if your voice is telling you, who else's voice is going to be in your head, guys, right? If our voice is telling us that things suck, well, guess what? We have to unlearn that. How do we unlearn that when our voice is telling us this over and over? Or if our voice is telling us to be in fear, or if our voice is saying, they're the enemy, this thing's the enemy, or that our trauma is bigger than love. What is your voice telling you inside? What is it telling you? What is your pain point? So our voice inside, that Shmigo guy, or our angel, let's just say it here, we have love, our angel, we have our Shmigo guy. Our love voice will say, that pain, that experience taught me something. I am a better person because I've experienced it. But our Shmigo guy, he will say, oh baby, you are in trouble, you are unworthy, you can't go forward, you are not enough, nothing is going to change. So there's the mind thing. That's what your voice is telling you. You're right. Staying positive and praying. Those are the things we want to work on, right? Those are the things that are going to bring us back into our love point of view. But again, we all have these triggers. It's almost like a post-traumatic stress that we have because our pain triggers those things. So our brain remembers. Our brain remembers the trauma. Our brain remembers our lack. Our brain remembers the voice, the things that we have learned to tell ourselves since we were a child. So those false things and the good things too. But our brain remembers. So then when something happens and reminds us, all of a sudden our body triggers the nerves and it sends it to our body and we have a reaction. So what is that reaction? It's either we're reactive in a negative way, we're reactive in our voice, we go within, we shut down, or we have patterns that are self-sabotaging. It's not necessarily self-love. And how many of you have had that? How many of you will self-sabotage? Let me see a little run of hearts there for you. All right. So what is your self-sabotaging? So this is the list I want you guys to grab. If you don't have a pen and paper, run and grab one and come right back. And let's make a list, because once we have a list of those things that we are self-sabotaging on, whether it be money and then we feel depleted, whether it's an argument and then we feel unsafe, or maybe it's a judgment and then we begin to really counter and judge ourselves. Maybe it's a feeling. Maybe we see somebody else having what we want or what we desire, and so then we feel unworthy. So these are the things I want you to start making that list about, because those are your triggers. Those are your points. That's the stuff that we can start to relearn. We can start to change that voice within and say, whatever it is I'm telling myself, whatever that pain point is daily, I'm going to change that voice over. Instead of being in the negative, I'm going to make it into a beautiful, positive affirmation. Right. So then I was doing a little bit of research, because I love the research about healing work and how it really changes us and how we become stuck in our patterns. I'm so sorry. Let me read this. Sue says, I use trying hard to be better. So what if you already are better? So what if it already is that you are good and you are better, and that's no longer possible for you to be any better than you already are? What if you could be that right now? How would that feel? Grief is a trigger, for sure. I think that's what you're saying, Pat, right? Grief is a trigger. So when you say grief is the trigger, does that mean if somebody else passes away, if that comes to the point where it just sends you to feeling even worse? So yeah. So again, how do we relearn that what you've gone through isn't meant to stop you or keep you in pain? Rather, it's meant to propel you and help you to go forward. How do we switch that up, especially when it's after a death of a loved one? And so this is what we talk about, right? How our loved ones will come through in that session. And Pat, we've had so many beautiful sessions where you had those confirmations with Tim coming through and talking to you and sharing the love, and him saying, I'm still there, I'm still hanging out with you. But yet we still aren't filled up by that, because we end up feeling guilt. Will you agree with me on that? That we have guilt, and that guilt is a trigger. Yeah, perfect. And so Jen is saying she's grieving a couple aspects of my life I've let go. And grieving is a natural process, and it can be done in a loving way, or it can be done in a self-sabotaging way. So grief can hold us in a state of sameness, or grief can help us to journey forward for those new relationships, for those new experiences, for new love to enter. And beautiful Eugene and his wife are on here, and they lost their daughter. And this is a big deal for you, because, I mean, loss of any soul that we love is hard. But when we lose a child, I can only imagine the heartbreak and how hard it is to move forward. But again, here's that love point where she says, I'm healed, I'm whole, and I'm holy, so I can come through for you. I love you. And again, she showers, your daughter, she's so bright and shiny. She just showers all her love around you guys. And she just, again, she brings you together like this, you know, she like wraps her arms and she's like, Jeannie, my parents are such special people. They have such big hearts. They are such giving people that they end up feeling less than instead of feeling uplifted for all that they do. I'm sorry, she's she's just, I'm moving through all this like emotion with her, but she's like genuinely showing this affection towards both of you and saying, stay together, stay strong and stay united and keep doing those things that you feel are worthy, those charitable contributions. I just love that. I love that she wants to be there and be that guide for you. Pat, you're right. This is exactly the time of year where grief is so heightened, and how do we move through it? How do we sustain and be healthy instead of falling into that same pattern of maybe grieving even more? So your loved ones, here's what I can tell you, your loved ones, they want you to be enjoying your time here. They know that there's going to be this full reuniting when we are all together in heaven. But they're here with you as well. Because remember, that soul is infinite. We've talked about it. You've heard me say it. The soul is infinite. It's one of the universal truths the angels have said. Your soul is here and it's with God. It's how you can work in alignment with your highest soul self, your goddess soul self. And when our loved ones depart, they only lose the physical aspect. So we're very attached to the physical. There's no doubt. It's just who we are. So how do we get more energetic? How do we realize, just like Jen was saying earlier about how the moon affected her, that energy of the full moon shifts and moves us? How can we be in that alignment and that energy to move with our loved ones and feel them? Right, Pat? So this is what Tim shows. Like he's there with you. He's, showing you the way. But then again, he says, my Pat, she's so stubborn. He says she's got her own agenda. It's what she's doing to make sure that everything is perfect. So, and he says, you lock yourself away, and close the door. He's like, she closes the door. She keeps people at bay. It's just what she does, rather than having them inviting them in, going to parties and having those experiences and growing and evolving. He says this is what the healthiness is when we grow and we evolve. That's how we can become the best living souls instead of ending up in that not growth, in that not moving forward. So Pat, that's what Tim shows for you. He says, tell her, Jeannie, he says, tell her to get up off the couch and get out of the house. Tell her to go and experience. Tell her to have some friends. Tell her to do some living instead of being stuck. He says she's so concerned with keeping the house perfect and aligned that she's not taking time to do the things for herself. So you understand, Pat, he's not picking on you, but he's sending you love. He's sending you encouragement. He said encouragement. Tell her that's the word I'm using. Encouragement. Beautiful. So, what are our tools? What can we do when our loved ones, I know you get it, and I know it's hard. And I say I know it, I'm not living it, but I know it because I feel it. So, I want to validate your pain. I want to tell you, you're right, it's really hard. I don't know how you get up. I don't know how you're doing it. By the grace of God, here you are. And you have one choice to live this life to its fullest. So I invite you to do that. I invite you, your loved ones invite you to do that. Yeah, Jen, you're right. Being around loved ones has been healing. That helps us to move forward. So when we retreat away, we feel obviously more lonely because that's our pain point. And so that's the one thing we end up doing is we create more pain for ourselves, right? Right. Stupid pain, right? All right, so let's talk a little bit about creating sacred space. And the reason why I want to talk about creating sacred space, because this is how we can take care of ourselves. Listen up. for all of my loved ones here that are watching that have, you know, had their loved ones leave and they're suffering and they're not sure what to do and, you know, how to heal themselves. The moment of choice is here. The moment that you choose you and to create a sacred space and a sacred practice of filling back up, of self-love, of being worthy, not only to yourself, but to others. So when we become really stuck and isolated, this is when we retreat away from life and from experiences and from relationships and from having growth. That's a problem, right? We're meant to have relationships. Even if we have bad breakups, even if we have friendships that leave, even if we have people who hurt us, we're meant to have these experiences so that we can evolve. And not every relationship is supposed to work out perfectly and have a beautiful ending. There are going to be messy times. These are meant to teach us, but we can't see the points. We can't see the healing if we don't do that you work, if we're not still enough. So that sacred space is that place that you create where you can do your prayers, you can do your meditation, where you can even stretch and be with your own body. The more you create that space for yourself and you start to self-love and care for you, this is when you can feel your loved ones. This is also when you can feel that intuitive guidance, when the angel voice gets louder than the Shmigo voice. Isn't that what we all want? We want that love voice to win. We don't want that Shmigo voice to win. We don't want fear to be that constant that we're always listening to. Love will make us stronger. Love will heal those wounds. Inviting new relationships in is how we do it. So, what do you think about that? That's great, right? So big. It's just so big. So, when we are able to do a little bit of that you work, so what is your favorite thing to do for your you work, the sacred space that you create? Do you go walking? Are you meditating? Are you stretching? Are you doing some yoga? What are you doing? I want to see. Let me know. Are you taking the time to journal? Did you buy my book, The Goddess You or The Goddess You Journal? These are things that you can do for you. I want to know, guys. Tell me. I want to know what you're doing for yourself. Mary, I love that. Walking in nature is perfect, isn't it? Because you can hear God. You can hear love. You can hear that essence. Linda's doing yoga. Susan, we're going to change that. Jen, you are great at journaling, for sure. Wanda, walking meditation, perfect. Those are great. Stretching, like that too. I love the stretching for me. It really helps me to get relaxed, and it also gets rid of that kind of heightened anxiety. Finding time to meditate. Tracy says, I read her books whenever I begin to feel lost. That's great. Marianne is journaling. Chapel daily, Sally says. Sue says, saying thank you every morning when I get up. Oh, perfect. That gratitude is such an attitude changer. Gratitude can really raise our vibration. Hi, Simone. How are you? Meditate too. Perfect. Those are really great. Congratulations. Prayers in the AM. Great, Pat. Reading the Bible. Yay, Kathy. That's beautiful. I've been doing that too. I've been finding different quotes, which is lovely. I have my 24-hour day book. Nice. I don't know what that is, but I'm going to look that up, guys. I'm writing it down. Yay. All right. So let's do a couple connections since we've had this great conversation so far. Thank you, Wanda. If you would like me to make a connection to your loved one and I haven't read you or you're new here, I'd love you to put your loved one's name or who you'd like to hear from And I'm going to look for a little quote that I want to read you at the same time. Oh, the AA book. Perfect. So here's something that I love that I found in the Bible, is that we all have gifts. We all have spiritual gifts. So some of us are meant to be healers, mediums. Some of us are meant to be doctors, nurses, caregivers, you name it. There are many types of spiritual gifts. So in Corinthians 12:4, it says, there are different kinds of spiritual gifts, but the same Spirit. There are different forms of service, but the same Lord. So that tells us that we are all gifted. And when we use our gifts in alignment with God, this is how we are of service. This is another way that you can self-love, is when you start to use your gifts and you help others with that gift. It shifts the vibration. It changes. And it also gets you out of a funk a lot of times when we're feeling really depressed and we're feeling really low. Helping somebody else, doing a kind act, will make all the difference. Perfect. Okay. I'm just reading your names so I can see who's going to step forward for me. Sorry, I'm just writing down. Hi, Debbie. How are you, honey? Nice to see you. Thank you. I'm going to do a couple of readings. I'm writing people's names down. One of the ways I work is pen to the paper. This is a great way, and I love to do this because it helps me to stay connected to Spirit. It also lets me tell them I'm ready to work. So it's kind of like my open sign. This is why I always tell people pen to the paper is such a great tool for connecting to our highest self and for connecting to Spirit. It's how you can talk to your angels, your loved ones, to God. That's why journaling is such an important part of our lives, because it's very healing. Okay. Tracy, actually, you're the first person that I wrote down, because your sister, and I don't know if this is actually a blood sister for you, but it's such a strong connection that it feels like she stands side by side, so she's right there, so you understand. I'm also, we have a really dry mouth, and that's how she's coming through. I just feel like she's saying like the end stages. I feel like this is her at the end stage was just, and I feel like illness for her, just so you understand that's what she's coming through. So that's why I'm having the dry mouth, and I feel like that was complications from the medication as well. I don't know if she lost her voice, but I'm feeling like she couldn't really talk. But she says there's a lot of guilt that you're carrying, and she points to your shoulders, because that makes me, that's my sign for a heavy load, just so you understand. So I feel like you're carrying so much. She's saying, ease up. You don't need to carry it all. You don't need to do it all. That's what she's talking about. I hope that makes sense to you, Tracy, and I hope that brings you some peace as well, especially going into that holiday season. Don't have all that guilt, my love. Guilt is a fear-bound energy. Move over to the love. Okay, that's what she's saying. Whew, such a big one. Thank you all for adding your names. Debbie just got home. Nice to see you. Pat, why does only Tim come through? Oh, I think because Tim has a lot to say and always has. And he always shows up for you, because I feel like, that's the most painful relationship and the most relevant. And not that your parents, not that your family, not that your other loved ones aren't there, but I do feel like this is where the healing needs to happen for you still. And that's why he comes through. Oops, I lost my, there we go. Hi, Linda. Nice to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Simone, I would love to give you some guidance, because I do feel like very anxious and very, are you actually having anxiety? That's why she was coming through like that. And that's why she was getting the illness. Sorry. I'm confusing two different things. So thank you, Tracy, for letting me know. So Simone, I'm getting like that anxiety for you. And I am also getting like, poor decisions. So I'm feeling like you're making some choices that aren't serving your highest and best good. So the angels are saying like reevaluate things. And I feel like there's some things that need to kind of move to the side. I feel like maybe there's some, and I'll say habits because that's what they're making me feel, that can shift and change to a little bit more positive. I love the daily gratitude for you. I feel like it's going to change things a lot. So they're saying pen to the paper on your gratitude, write one thing every day that you're grateful for. And I feel like that will be such a blessing. Sally wants to hear from Shirley. Hi, Tammy. Hi, Lily. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Perfect. I'm going over my list, who I've written down, and I'm asking who's going to step forward. Sally, it's you. I'm getting Shirley, and I'm feeling like a mother figure. So I don't know if this is your mom or grandmom, but that's how I'm feeling. If you can just let me know, that'd be great. I'm also getting plugged quickly, which means that she departed quickly, maybe without warning. So that's my feeling on her. And she's just so grateful that she's able to stop by and say hello. She's all smiles and such an uplifting soul. And she's loved the holidays. I just feel like this was her time of year, like cooking and planning. That's the energy that I'm getting all around her. So she's just giving all the smiles. And so that's her way of letting you know that she's still with you as well. Hi, Joyce. How are you? Nice to see you. Oh, Sue. Perfect. Sue, we're talking to Aunt Barbara. She's the next one to step forward. She's a little bit overweight, but she's not anymore. That's what she's telling me. She's feeling very good. She's no longer feeling ill. I do feel like she felt ill for a very long time, and I feel like that's how she spent her life. Again, she feels like such a lovely woman. So she just surrounds you with love, and she's supporting you too, because I do feel like you've been going through such a difficult time. And I feel like it's been a wave. So I feel like you were in a good flow, and now maybe down a little bit, but not as bad as you were. So she's saying she's helping you to keep uplifted. She said, we're all fine over here. That's how she's talking, very sweet. And she wants you to continue to take care of yourself and don't worry so much. I feel like there are big changes, but I feel like it's going to be for the best. And that's what Aunt Barbara has to say. All right. You're welcome, Sally. Oh, Lily, I'm so sorry that your soulmate passed of cancer. Can you give me a first name? This is a male figure, correct? Hi, Susan. Thanks for stopping by. Blah, my mouth. Perfect. Hey, Trish, how are you? Oh. Yes, Lily, can you give me his first name? So I'm feeling like he's absolutely fine. He's talking about the bike, and I feel like it's a 10-speed, like an actual 10-speed bike. I don't know if he rode, but that's what he's making me feel. And he's making me feel the wind on his face and like this freedom. And I feel like, and he's all around the heart and chest. So I don't know if it was in those lungs, but he feels like he can breathe so much easier. Again, he's showing me that you have and carry a lot of guilt. He said, I left a lot of unfinished business, and for that, he's really eternally sorry, but he's sending all his love. Yeah. Beautiful. Trish, we've been talking all about Christmas, so we've been talking about how to deal with our stress over the holidays. Perfect. She's watching the Hallmark Channel and getting all lost. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you all and your comments and your support of each other. And I'll see if I can do one more before we say goodnight. It wasn't as long as that's what I feel like. And do you understand the bike ride, Lily? The bike. Yeah. Yay. I'm glad. Yes, he is happy. Happy because there's no more pain. Is that what you're meaning by, is he happy? He's good. He's no longer in that pain. He's no longer suffering. He's more concerned about you, Lily, honestly. So I don't know what the reference is of the wind on the face that he was making me feel. That's a freedom, and it makes me feel like he can breathe so much easier. So that's the feeling I'm getting as I'm like on this bike and going down and the wind is blowing, and that's what he's showing me. Perfect. All right, I actually, I'm going to go up to Lori for John. Lori, are you still here? I get the smoker. Just want to confirm that with you because he's wafting smoke over here. You're welcome. I love when we see someone that looks like our loved ones because it's just a reminder that they are still with us. It's just, that's how they'll do it. So, Lori, you understand about the smoke then? So there's wafting the smoke, and I'm also having, it's all around the lung and the esophagus. I'm also feeling like you need to use your voice a little bit more. I feel like this is a big message for you. And he's saying, you hold everything within. He would like you to start to process and get things outside of you. He feels like, he stands on the side of you, but yet he has like this father figure, but I don't feel like he's your father. So, I'm not sure of the relationship, but that he stands side by side. So that lets me know that he's connected to you. And also he has this father figure like talking with you. So he wants you to use your voice. And I feel like we can do, I would love to talk with you, Lori, about some writing work that I would like you to do to work on opening that throat chakra. Okay? So let's connect. Give me a call. And if you guys would like to go further, you can go onto my website and you can sign up for a 30-minute session or for even a 60-minute session, whatever you like. But in these sessions, it's very personalized and my work is very specific for your healing and for your benefit. So I would love to be able to help you with that and to help you to become the strong person that you want to be. So that's the goal, right? If you have enjoyed this show, I'm going to ask you a favor. I'm going to ask you to please go on and give me a positive review on Facebook here, to share the work with your friends so that more people can connect, and I would really appreciate that. Lily, I feel like that too. I feel like that you are struggling, but again, I feel like this would need to be a very personalized session because there's so much for us to go over. But I want to give you some hope, and I want to validate your pain because I feel it and I feel your grief, but more importantly, I feel your guilt. So I want to help you work through that guilt. The best thing I can tell you to do at this moment is to get to that gratitude. Find that love every single day. Find it in anything surrounding you, whether it's the trees, whether it's a bird, whether it's somebody saying hello, whether it's this moment tonight with everybody sharing their stories. But I want you to welcome that love into your life. So please join me in sending all of our people that we've shared, the loved ones that have come through. We thank them for coming through to help us remember that we're not alone. And that love is available to us at any given moment if we choose it. You're welcome. Love you too, Lori. Sending my love to all of you, and I hope that you have a most beautiful night, and I will see you guys next week right here on the Facebook. All right. Oh, I didn't share my wellness tip. Let me do it really quick because you all love it. Wellness tip number 1, if you're going to drink this holiday season, if you're going to overload yourself with food, if you're going to have that hangover, my number 1 cure is coconut. So coconut water will act and rehydrate you. It will fill you back up. And also coconut has a healthy fat. So whenever we have that hangover, we want the fat to help us feel better. So coconut oil and coconut water are lifesavers. That's my tip for you guys. I love you and I hope you have a beautiful night. God bless. Bye.